Hey guys, I am back finally with another video. A lot has happened in the past month or so. I think I posted a video sooner, one of the CNC videos. I've been pretty much really busy trying to get all the lights on the house for the light show. We're getting kind of down to the wire, and I know that sounds crazy being in September, but there is a lot to do. Um, Behind me over here, I have a new projector I bought. New to me. I got it off of eBay for 20 bucks, but it's working really well. So I'll be adding that in, and on Tuesday we're getting all the lights up on a peak. So, um, on to the big news. We have had a ton of subscribers in the last month. We have reached 1,160 subscribers, and I really appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you everybody for everybody that's watched, subscribed, liked. Really appreciated. So we hit the monetization milestone, so we are monetized now, and I am an Amazon affiliate. So as I go through nose itches, as I go through videos, I will be putting Amazon affiliate links to the stuff that I use and like in the description. It doesn't cost you any more. It's just I get a cut of Amazon's pie, which is really nice. It'll help me do some upgrading. So right now here in the office, I kind of have gotten away from using the phones in the office, and I just have the regular Logitech webcam, so I can upgrade stuff like that, microphones. So if you guys are going to purchase stuff, please help me out. If you find my videos successful, no, useful, if you find my videos useful, give me a subscribe and a like. It really helps the algorithm. So the reason for this video today is I kind of figured I'd venture away from Anycubic 3D printers and give the Creality Ender series printers a try. Now Creality did give me a pretty hefty discount on the printer that I got because I am doing this video on it. And it's hasn't been the smoothest ride, but we'll get into that. So we're going to have kind of an unboxing, a setup video, then I'll go through, I'll just talk about some things. Hint, right now the printer's not working, and I'll tell you why at the end. So let's switch over. I'm going to try doing this with Streamlabs. So, alright, so it came in a very nice box. It's a very nice box, the best box ever. No, alright. I filmed this already, so I'm just going to kind of narrate it as we go. Pretty hefty. My pillow fell. So right on top we've got instructions. Now, first thing you notice is the packing is incredible. Pause it right here. So we got our user manual there. Everything is packed nice, tightly. Everything has its spot. A lot of thought was put into this. There's a lot of care in it. This thing isn't going to get damaged in shipping. We'll speed it up. I probably could have fast forwarded. There we go. So this is one of the things I really liked over Anycubic. Anycubic, for their test filament, they send you just a strand of coiled up filament. It really doesn't work all that well when you're trying to print. It's just a mess. And it's about, I don't know how long it is, but it's like it's really short. Creality sends out filament on a spool. Now this is their white PLA, so it's the Creality PLA. But I printed a bunch of test stuff with it, and I'm not going to get into that on this video. That'll be kind of the next video. But I printed a bunch of test stuff, and actually this little light bulb here, or the top part, was printed with the PLA that they sent, along with like two benchies and a few other things. I did print some Raspberry Pi cases, so they send you a pretty decent amount of filament on there to test with. That's a huge bonus. So we got our little box with pieces, parts, and we'll have a quicker or a more up close video, but the little scraper isn't as nice as Anycubics, but I mean, hi Morgan, but that's of no consequence. Standard power cable. So you have your SD card and SD card reader, that's USB. Notice they all come with it. Clip and an extra nozzle comes with it. We got our tools, you know, your standard tools, little wrench, little screwdriver. I keep them around, but I tend to try and use my own. Comes with zip ties. I haven't put the zip ties on yet. You'll see why soon. There, we're back to the scraper. I mean, it's not a bad scraper, but it's not as beefy as Anycubics, which might be a good thing. Obviously, your power cord. Standard computer type power cord. And that's the only 4 screws that you need to assemble it. Really too easy. It has a little clearing nozzle or nozzle clearing needle, and it comes with the diagonal cutters. Now I can never have enough diagonal cutters. Well, flush cutters in this case. I use them constantly. Now we have their we have their screen. It is not a touch screen, so they haven't made it that far yet. It's decent. It's not Apple iPad quality, but it works. It does the trick. It does bolt onto the rails now, and it isn't quite as solid on there as what I had figured, but we'll get into that. Alright, here is the first part and second part of the spool holder. I actually like this a bit better than Anycubics. Now, Anycubics comes with, you have 2 little screws and it slides in and it gets loose. I don't like it. This one actually mounts and clips on to the extruded rails, and you can swing it back and forth, which is huge. It's great. The spool portion clips on so it can into the hole so it can go on either side. I obviously chose the side that's going to be closer to the gantry. Hi Morgan. I think she's laying down to take a nap. You can see how that puts together really simply. Again, everything is packed really nice and tightly. Now, this is the machine, obviously. It's a huge work area on it. Pretty solid. Everything's put together on it, but there is one thing that just kind of makes it cumbersome, and the wires are connected to the bottom, so you've got to kind of try to get both pieces out at once. You can see where it's kind of connected right here. So you got to try and get both pieces out at once, and that can be kind of a pain. You can see I'm trying to adjust so I can do it. So I got over it. Not too big of a deal. So now we're going to be moving into the putting it together. Here I am reading the instructions. Who knew I actually read instructions? Again, like I said, 4 screws. Now, one of the problems that I ran into was this is a really tight fit. You'll kind of see it here as I put this together. Got to kind of move your wires around, and it's got grooves that it slides into. You can see them right here. But with the gantry all the way down, it's just too rigid, doesn't fit. So you got to move the gantry up to give you just enough that you can slide it down. Then you put in your 4 screws. There they are. Really simple to get in. This is one of the cases where I kind of wanted to get one of my own tools, but I think I was too lazy. It happens. So we don't need to sit here and stare at me screwing stuff in. Alright, now for the other side. You can kind of see the screws in there. So it's a really simple assembly. Alright, now we got to plug in the panel. So first thing I'm doing here is I'm putting on the panel bracket, which just kind of screws into, it doesn't screw in, it's got little mounts on it, and then you tighten the mounts up. T-mounts, I think they're called. That holds it in place. Then I put the cable on and mount that right there. Pretty easy, not too bad. Now, here I am reading instructions again. Yeah, I play with this for a little bit. I'm kind of slow, I guess. You see how that just clipped on there and how that goes back and forth. Now I did move the spool holder over to the other side. And then you plug in a couple cables and you're good to go. And the cables, it's not like the Anycubic where it's got 3 right in a row you have to look at the colors for. This is just, you got your Z-axis cables for each of the motors. Too easy. Way too easy. This video is 16 minutes long now. I think the video total was like 20 minutes long. I did some fast forwarding, but that's how long it took me to set up and get printing, basically. I mean, it was definitely under a half hour. So here it had me reset. Now it's got me going through doing the auto home. I'm narrating, but you can obviously see what's going on in there. And there's the first movements of the printer. And it is whisper quiet. And this is out of the box. It's whisper quiet. No upgrades. I think we can kind of move this along here, huh? Alright, so we're going to kind of zoom back in here. Now it's going to have me go work on the Z offset a little bit. And here is the Z offset setting up. And now what is going on with the camera? So I'm adjusting the Z offset as I move the sheet around, so things are moving just ever so slightly. Alright, now we got our Z offset set per the instructions. Now it's having me do a quick and dirty leveling. It has me disabling the steppers, leveling everything out. So I go through and I manually do that. And I just took a regular sheet of printer paper, which worked well. And this is all explained in the instructions that come with it. So each corner. Now it took me a little bit of fiddling and moving around. All good though. Here's one thing I want to point out. We'll pause it right here. So the Anycubics and the Enders, they came with tiny little leveling wheels. This one has nice, big, sturdy leveling wheels on it. It's really easy to get at and level things out. Big feature I like. Alright, there I'm doing a little bit more with the printing. I did switch up my paper. I think I ripped the last one. And here we're zoomed in, and now we're going to do its auto leveling. So the Anycubic Ender 3 Max Neop, which is the printer this is, has auto leveling, which is amazing. So it goes through the process. I think it does. I think it has 24 points that it does to the level. So this takes a touch of time. It is auto leveled. Now it has me readjust the ZX or the Z offset, so I readjust the Z offset. And now it's got me preheating for PLA. Obviously, there's going to be printing coming up, which I do actually have printing on here. So within probably 15-20 minutes, I was printing from when I opened the box. It went that quick. Now, for me, I was actually fiddling with the camera and stuff, but here is the first benchy that comes out. I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch this. It's moving about as fast as what you would think. I think I had this set for like 60 millimeters per second, so it's not clipper speed. Although Anycubic does have a new thing coming out. It's called the Sonic Pad that will be supporting clipper on the Ender series and I think the CR series printers. I don't have all the details on that. I'm trying to get one. But it's printing this quick. I mean, an amazingly easy setup. And it's actually printing pretty darn nice. This was probably one of the best benchies I've done. And I don't need to subject you guys to it. You can see the benchies there. It's holding. Yeah, we are back to kind of an ultra base bed where I like those PIE beds. But we'll give this one a little bit of a go. So, it has been, the printer's been great. I mean, the first thing I printed, like actually for me, was this bulb portion of a really large mini light. So this was done in base mode. Now I was a little bit rough with it. So it's this bulb, and I was a little rough with it and kind of did a little damage to it, but it's just decoration for over on the table. Second part I did was I put some of the Matter Hackers PLA on it, printed out this little base. So I'm actually going to have some LED pixels that go in there. And finally, I've been able to print something out that's tall. So I printed out the actual base for the light. And even with the threads, works great. So it's very accurate. It took a while to print. I think this took like 10 hours, this part. No supports needed. So I'm really happy with the quality of print I got, and it's, you can tell that there's some layer lines in there, but they're not too bad. So that's a good decoration. Now the bad news. That printer that I just showed you and set up is down. I can't use it. So all of a sudden, when I was trying to do some printing, actually, I think I was trying to print out Thor's hammer. That was the start. I started running into an issue where a quarter of the way through the print, all of a sudden I'd get an alarm on it saying thermal runaway. And it was probably 1 in 10 prints. Not that I actually did 10, but I was starting to have that issue with it. It would get some prints down, and I had a Raspberry Pi with Octoprint set up on it. And I started having the issue, and I thought maybe it was the Raspberry Pi and Octoprint, Octopi. So I went back to the SD card, and I started printing. Now I was just trying to print little benchies and stuff. One of the things I was trying to print was one of those light bulbs, only in PETG. Kept having the issue. Then I started noticing that the USB, it's a micro USB on the front, the USB port was really loose. The Octopi wouldn't stay connected. I mean, I could move that cable quite a bit back and forth. Well, I started, I went back to using the SD card, and I started to get that thermal runaway more often. And then finally, I would, on several prints that I tried to start, it would Very slowly the hot end would heat up. I mean, it was taking 10-15 minutes to get up to 200, 235. And then it would get up to about 205, and it would tell me that it wasn't heating as expected. And now that every time I try to use the printer, it gives me that heating error. It won't heat up the hot end. So this was an opportunity to talk about Creality support. It is very hard to get a hold of Creality support, being that they're in China and the time difference. So it's not that they ignore you, it's just, you're trying to get them in your later on in the night as they're earlier in the morning, so it's just trying to line things up. So I was able to get the girl on Facebook that I've been dealing with, Nancy, I was able to get her to hook me up with an engineer. The engineer took me through some testing one night, and we determined that it is a bad motherboard. And he was going to send me a motherboard, and I asked to get a thermistor for the hot end just in case, because I want this thing back up and running. A few days go by, I hear nothing, so I talk to Nancy again, and come to find out the engineer didn't put anything in for me, so she hooks me up with a customer care person. They get my address and everything, and they have got a motherboard coming. So there is going to be a video on changing the motherboard. Right now, the thermistor or hot end kit that they're going to send me is out of stock, so that is in the future. But hopefully, I'm hoping the motherboard fixes the issue, but I wanted that hot end kit just in case. I didn't want to have this thing down for more than it needs to be. Some of the features I like over the Anycubic is obviously the leveling knobs are a lot better. This print area is huge. We'll actually go through some of the features and specifications here in a minute. It's a huge print area. So let me get rid of this page. Now this is the Max Neop, so it is the newest in Creality's lineup. And I'm going to look at getting an Ender 3 Neo. So let's switch to the how-to video here. Alright, so this is a 300mm by 300mm, which I believe my Anycubic is like 210 by 210 by 205. So this is substantially taller and substantially larger build volume. And for the price and the features that I get, it was more worth it to get this than to step up to the CR series. Right now I don't see needing bigger than this, but someday. One of the big features I liked, the reason I didn't get Creality to start with, is the Ender series didn't have dual Z screws. Didn't have the second motor there. I just didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that it wasn't supported. I mean, it was supported, but that it didn't have that drive over there. This has dual Z drive. I love it. Helps with stability, and that's one of the things that I had heard about Enders. Another huge feature, CR Touch leveling. Gotta love it. Saved me a ton of time goofing around. Well, you saw the putting it together. 3 steps. 10, maybe 10 minutes. It's the knob. I'd prefer a touch screen, but actually they got something coming that will have it. There is no noise to this thing. I sat here, I watched movies with this thing printing, and it's right in the living room. You guys saw where it was. Very quiet. It's got a beefy power supply on it. It is a full metal extruder, so that is very nice. It is a lot less complicated to use and work on than what the Anycubic's Titan extruder was. The Anycubic was enclosed, you had to take things off, and this is more simplistic. which makes it, I think it works better. It does have the, what's it called, filament runout sensor. 32-bit silent main board. That's perfect. Resume printing, and I did get to try the resume printing because I was an idiot. Resume printing worked great. Printing speeds up to 120 millimeters per second. We'll be testing that. All the way to the top. And that's the printer. I mean, the printer is awesome. This actually right here, this Creality Sonic Pad is going to be Ender's clipper upgrade for these printers, which I'm gonna, once I get it back up and running, I'm gonna play with it a little bit more, but I'm looking at trying out one of these. I did clipper on both Anycubics, and God, it was a pain to set up. It was a pain to tweak. It was a pain to get it used in Cura, because I like Cura. I had to get Super Slicer for a while until I got some new profiles. But we're going to be giving this a shot. Now, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out, I don't think this is actually very portable, so this is basically their Raspberry Pi. It's not a Raspberry Pi, but it's their version. We'll give it a shot, though. And it can go up to 160 millimeters per second. I'll take it. So, below, I am going to put some links, those affiliate links I talked about. I am an affiliate for Creality, so I will put the printer down there for an affiliate link, and I'll put the filament that I use on the affiliate links. Overall, between the Anycubic and this one, I like this one better. And it's not just because of the print size. I think this printer, how much was it? I don't remember. Let's look. I think it was like $2.99. Yeah, it was $2.99. I know Anycubics are like, you can get them for like $1.39 now, but the features that it has, it was just worth it to get this printer. Otherwise, like with the Anycubics, I probably spent a few $100 just upgrading them. So this one, I like it a lot better. One thing I do like a lot more about the Creality versus the Anycubic is the support. And not Creality support, it's the community. There's a lot more out there, and the Creality is a lot more mainstream than what the Anycubic was. Now, I do have a friend that works with Anycubics, and he helped me out a lot with it, and I still have the Anycubics. I do have those kind of dialed in for Pet G for like the Christmas lights and stuff. So I'm going to give one to my sister, but I'll keep the rest for making stuff like that. This one is going to be, it's going to do some of my decorations, so I want to decorate. It's going to make some of my outdoor decorations, so I like this one a lot more. I'm very happy with it. It has been a pretty big disappointment with that main board going so quick, but they are taking care of me, and you'll hear more about that when it's time to switch it out. Maybe I'll do that one a little bit live so you can see my struggles if there are any, or just see how easy it is. All right. With that, I got nothing else for you today. I'm going to have some more cooking videos. I know this one kind of strayed away, but the 3D printing videos were popular, and this is a new printer. I want to get it out there. So stay tuned for the swapping out the motherboard. And I am going to look at getting the Anycubic Ender 3 Neo. So there's 3 versions of this Neo line. So there's the Ender 3 Neo, the Ender 3 Pro or V2 Neo, and then the Max. So I'm going to have the Max and the Ender 3. So hopefully I don't run into the motherboard issues. You guys take care. Again, I really appreciate everybody who has helped me get to the point of monetization. I really appreciate all the subscribers. If you guys find the video useful, I got it right this time, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I am going to try and work harder on getting videos out a little bit more frequently. I have my sister now helping me with a lot of stuff. So you guys take care. Enjoy what's left of summer. Fall is on its way. Catch y'all later.